Customer Record Options Review. To perform various transactions on a customer account, like put a deposit on account, pay a customer's bill, or view a customer's transaction history, we access the customer options in the customer record. Let's take a look. Click Customer Search on the toolbar, enter the name and press Enter, and enter again. And here in the customer record, we have the yellow Customer Options button on the left. Let's click it and go through each one of these features, what I call the transaction features in the customer record. Select Deposit on Account, and here is where we post a payment for the customer to use later to pay an RO or a parts invoice. The date defaults to today automatically, but we can change that if we want. And the date we put here will be the date the payment is posted to the daily sales report. Enter the deposit amount. Select the payment method, and enter any notes that may remind you what this deposit was taken for, and click OK. You can select to print a receipt if you like, and that deposit on account will now appear in the Credit Available box on the right. The next feature available under the customer options is the View AR Transactions. Notice this statement. Your transactions are currently filtered to show open invoices and credits. We can click the Find button to show specific transactions that we're looking for. I often select the radio button for the last year to see what's gone on with a particular customer account, and we can enter criteria to look for a specific transaction, dollar amount of a credit or a payment, but we'll just click OK. And here are the past year's transactions. I can select to show deleted transactions, and here are some. Show credits applied and non-AR payments, but I don't have any of those. So we hide these items just to keep the list less cluttered. But sometimes you need to know if something has been deleted, or where a credit has been used, or if there may have been any non-AR payments, like a check written to this customer for something you might have bought from them, or maybe a referral check, for example. It's all here. We can edit, delete, or void a transaction, or print this list. And note, any transactions included in other transactions, like a payment included in a bank deposit, cannot be deleted or voided until that bank deposit is voided. Same goes for a credit, deposit on account, or a payment for an invoice. If part or all of the transaction has been used for another transaction, a payment on an invoice, for example, that transaction can only be viewed, not deleted or voided. And the difference between delete and the void is a deletion can be hidden. Remember this? Whereas voids always show on the list with the word void listed next to it. Another hidden feature is if you see a deposit on account or an AR credit refund transaction, you can right-click on that line and print a receipt for that transaction. It's kind of handy. Let's close and select Pay AR Invoices. And this is probably the most used customer option. We are actually in the cash drawer window, and here are all the invoices due for this customer. We select an invoice to pay by clicking in the Pay column, and note here we have some credit available. But remember, this was a deposit on account, so let's not use that money. Let's say they're going to pay this bill with another check. And let's say they're only going to pay $50 of the outstanding invoice. Click the Edit Payment Amount button with that invoice highlighted and enter $50 and click OK. See the net amount to pay in the upper right corner? Click Next and we select the method of payment we're going to use, and it's a check. And yet another reminder, we have a credit available to use, but we're going to click Apply Payment, and it's going to ask us for a check number since we're paying by check. Now we can change the date paid if it says we actually deposited this check the day before, or we could cancel this payment by clicking here and selecting Delete. And we'll say yes, because we want to use more than one type of payment, and this has happened to me a lot. Let's say they want to run their Visa and pay the rest with a check. Select Visa first from the drop list, and we'll enter $30 and click Apply Payment. Then we select Check for the rest, and the amount is already calculated for us. Click Apply Payment, and it asks for a check number again. So here we can put in multiple payment types and click Finish. Now there's another feature I want to show you when paying an AR. Let's take a look. We could also click the AutoPay Open Invoices button to open the automatic payment window and enter an amount paid. The system will allocate the payment to open invoices in order of the oldest invoice first. The AutoPay will say that the amount we're paying is more than the invoices, allocate it to other invoices, and we say yes. And if the amount you are posting on this customer account is more than they owe, just make a deposit on account first and pay off those outstanding invoices, and it will leave a credit on account that you can use later. Now let's create a new invoice. And this opens the AR invoice form to enter an invoice amount, put a note in here, and change the invoice date or due date if needed. But note here, most customer AR invoices are created by converting a repair order to an invoice and then charging the invoice to the customer's AR account. However, this feature can be used if a customer buys a car from your shop or purchases an old toolbox or a tire machine, for example. So after you enter the dollar amount for the invoice, you may enter a note or continue to tab ahead to bring up the disbursement window. Click Select to pick a GL account and just start typing the GL account number to activate the progressive search. When the GL account number is selected, the account name will be auto-populated. That memo is already entered here, so let's click OK to save this disbursement. And we click OK, save and close. Credits work the same way. Enter an amount. We'll say it's a customer referral credit, and we'll disperse that credit to Promotions, Other, $67,300, and click OK. And again, save and close. Let's select Print AR Statement to open the Send Statements filter window and select the date the statement should run through. Check the Show Accounts Receivable Activity box to print all account activity, and use the spin buttons to select the number of days of activity to include. And click OK. And from the Report Preview window, we can print this statement. Let's just click Close. Now let's select Refund AR Credit to open the Credits Available window. Select Credits to Refund by clicking in the Use column and click OK. Select the refund payment method and let's select a check and click OK. And here's our check writing function. Select Post, Close, and Print. And here we have an option to print a receipt for the credit refund. And these few last features are where we can select to make a customer also a vendor and tie the amount that we may owe them to the amount they may owe us for work done at our shop and just trade those out. An employee can also be a customer, and here we can deduct a portion of their net paycheck to pay for outstanding charges they may owe us. We can dial the customer's phone if this phone system is set up at your shop, and view the customer's parts invoice history, viewing the labor and the parts purchases separately, or the actual parts invoice if they purchase something over the counter from us. And the last option is a customer history report, where we can select how many months we want to include in this report, listing the customer's repair orders instead of parts invoices. Check the Use Printed Labor Service Descriptions box to include the entire labor description, not just the first line of the labor description. This report can also be printed from this report preview window. We'll click Close. And this concludes the lesson on the Customer Record Options Review.